mathematics class on mensuration. All right, so we started the series yesterday on mensuration, and don't forget we said mensuration is a branch of mathematics where we take measurements and also calculate area, volume, and the perimeter of geometrical shapes. Okay, and we looked at different types of geometrical shapes. So we looked at rectangle, square, circle, and so on. All right, so I said that we are going to start with plane shapes. All right, common plane shapes. All right, so the last time we looked at some questions under area and perimeter of plane shapes of rectangles. So we are going to continue from where we stopped in the last class. So if you're not in the last class, I'm going to encourage you, make sure you watch the last class. It's going to be impactful. All right. Okay. So before we commence the class, I want you to kindly invite your friends, let them know the class has started. And I want to believe you guys have set for today's class. You have your writing materials close to you. And don't forget, our class is always interactive. So I've always asked you questions, always get ready to reply my questions. Okay. All right. So invite your friends, let them know. And if you are new on this channel, I want you to subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to also tap the like button. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see the numbers of those that are around. Okay, you're all welcome to, as I join the class, just say hi so that we know the number of people that are available. Okay, I can see Raji Darasimi, you're welcome to class. Okay, all right, any other person? Okay, just say hi so that I will know you by name. All right, so as I join the class, just say hi, just drop a comment. Okay. Okay, now let's go into today's class. All right, so we are starting with this question. The perimeter of a rectangle is 64 centimeter and its area is 240 centimeters square. Find the length and the width. Don't forget I said it in the last class that the width is also the same thing as the breadth. Okay, so now in this question we are given the perimeter. The perimeter is 64 centimeter, and we're also given the area. The area A is 240 centimeters square. All right, so what I need now is to bring out the formula for finding perimeter of a rectangle and the area of a rectangle. So I can simply write 2 times L plus B, where B is the width or the breadth and L is the length, equals to the perimeter. Okay, and the perimeter here is 64, so we have 64. So I can simplify this to be L plus B equals to, you divide both sides by 2, so we have this to be 32. So this one is equation 1. I hope you understand that. Now let's look at the second one. So we are given the area. Now what's the formula for finding area of a rectangle? That's length times breadth, or we say length times the width. So we have length times breadth equals to 240. Okay, can you see that now? So we now have two equations. We have two equations. This is the first one and this is the second one. So what do we do now? We solve these equations simultaneously. All right. So let's use substitution method. Now from 1, let's make L to be the surrogate of the formula. That means L equals to 32 minus b. Okay, so you can call this equation 3. All right, so we now have expression for L. So now let us plug in the value of L into equation 2. So when you do that, you have 32 minus b times b equals to 240. All right. So now what's the next thing to do? The next thing to do is to open the bracket here. So let's do that. So let's open the bracket. Now b times 32, we have 32b. Now b times b, we have negative b squared. Okay, equals to 240. All right. So now let us rearrange this. Let's move these two terms to this side. So we have b squared negative 32b plus 240 equals to 0. All right. So can you see what we have now? We now have a quadratic equation. So let me engage you. Now, can you identify the sum and product? So what is the sum and what is the product? So if you have your answer, kindly drop it in the comment section. The sum of this quadratic equation and the product. Okay, so if you know the answer, you drop that in the comment section. So I want to believe everybody should be familiar with that. Okay. All right. So what is the sum and what is the product? Yes. So I can see Ajayi Amida, you're welcome to class. Bamidele Riscott, you're welcome to class. Can you attend to that question? What is the sum and what is the product? All right. Okay. Darasimi, sum is 32. Product is 240. Okay. Any other person? Okay. Yes. Any other person? Riscott, what do you have as your answer? And Amida, okay, I've seen Amida's answer. Sum is 32, product is 240. Okay, 240. All right. Okay. Yes, okay, I think I can see Toyosi Joseph. You're welcome to class. Do you have an answer to that question? Yes, what's your answer to that? Okay, yes. Now the sum and product. Sum and product. Don't forget the sum is the coefficient of B. So coefficient of B is negative 32 and not 32. You can see. So you have to take note of the sign. All right, take note of the sign. You can see this is not just 32, it's negative 32. So the sum is negative 32, while the product is 240. This number that is independent of B times the coefficient of B squared, and that's 1. So 1 times 240, that's 240. So we have 240 here. All right. So now, what do we need now? We need two numbers such that when we multiply together, you have 240, and when you add together, you have negative 32. So what are the two numbers? So I want you to drop that in the comment section before I write it out. So what are the two numbers? When multiplied together, you have 240, and when added together, we have negative 32. So you should be able to do that smartly. Okay. All right. So the two numbers will be what? Negative 12, confirmed with what we have there, negative 12 and negative 20. All right. So when you add this and this together, you have negative 32. And when you multiply the two together, you have positive 240, because negative times negative is positive. I hope you understand that. So now this equation turns to b squared negative 12b negative 20b plus 240 equals to 0. Okay, So now the next thing is to find the GCD of the first pair, the first pair here. So what's the GCD? The common factor, that is B, all right? So B can completely go here and completely go here, and it is the greatest factor, all right? So now, so we have B. When you divide B squared by B, you have B. Divide negative 12B by B, you have negative 12. Now let's look at this second pair here. Now look at this second pair. So what is the GCD? The GCD is going to be negative 20. Negative 20, right? So you have, when you divide negative 20B by negative 20, you have plus B. And when you divide 240 by negative 20, that gives you negative 12 equals to 0. Okay, so now you can factor out B minus 12. So when you do that, what do you have? So you have B minus 12. We are left with this and this. So we have B minus 20 equals to 0. All right, so we have two entities multiplying each other to have 0. So it's either this is 0 or this. So we have B minus 12 is 0 or B minus 20 is 0. Okay, so therefore B equals to 12 centimeter or B equals to 20 centimeter. All right. So if you add 12 to both sides, this is what you have. You add 20 to both sides, you have B equals to 20 centimeter. All right. So we are there now. So we have two values for the width. Two values for the width. But the question wants us to find the length and the breadth. Okay. So now look at it. Now, if the breadth is 12, what is going to be the length? You just need to come to this equation, equation 3. So that means the length will be what? Length equals to 32 minus 12. And that gives you 20 centimeter. So when B is 12 centimeter, L is 20 centimeter. Now let us look at this second case. Now this second case will not be valid, will not make sense. Now, B cannot be 20 centimeter, and the reason is the breadth cannot be bigger than the length. Now, look at it now. If you plug in B into this equation, we have L equals to 32 minus 20. That's going to give you what? That will give you 12. So that means you are saying the length is 12, while the breadth is 20. So there's no sense in that. So we now say B is not 20 centimeter. B is what? 12 centimeter, while the length is what? 20 centimeter. So that is the solution to that problem. So I hope you understand the explanation. All right. So if you have not tapped the like button, please ensure you do that. And don't forget, if you are new on this channel, ensure you subscribe, you click the notification button so that you'll be notified anytime we're on here. All right, so now let's move down to another question. Another question. Example 2. Okay, now let's look at the next question. It's just a replica of one of the questions I've done before. So the question says the length of a rectangle is decreased by 10% and the breadth is increased by 30%. Now find the percentage change in the area. Okay, so now the first thing I want you to know, now if I say L is 100%, okay, so that means L equals to 100 over 100 L. So this means that L is equals to L, because 100 divided by 100 will give you 1. So we have, this is 100% L. Now, if L is reduced by 20%, so what we reduce is the numerator, right? So you just reduce the numerator by 20. So that means L will be, L1 will be 100 minus 20 over 100 L. So this is a new L. So once it is reduced, so if it is increased as well, it's going to be plus. I hope you understand that. So let us take note of this. All right. So now let us now solve the problem. Let's solve the problem. Now a rectangle has a length L. Let's draw the rectangle. This is the length and this is the breadth. So area, let's say the area is A. Area is length times breadth. Or we just write LB. Now this is the area of the rectangle. Now, what now happened? The length is now decreased by 10%. So that means that we have new length. So we have L1 now. The new length will now be 100 minus 10 over 100 L. I hope you understand that. Okay, because it has been reduced by 10. So, and that is the same thing as what? 90 over 100 L. And what do we have? So L1 is what? 9 over 10 L. Can you see that now? So it's 0 cancels 0, so you have that. Now let us look at B. B is increased. The breadth is increased by 30%. Okay, so that means that B1 will be equals to 100 plus 30 over 100B. Okay, this breadth has been increased by 30. So that means we have 130 over 100B. Okay, so, and we can simply say that B1 is 13 over 10. 13 over 10. Now, do you understand that? All right, so now let us now look at the next thing. So we have L1, we want to get the new area. L1 times B1 equals to, now this is L1, the expression for L1, that is 9 over 10 L, okay, times B1. What is B1? Okay, sorry, this one's supposed to, has to have B. So we have times 13 over 10B. I hope you understand that. All right. So now we try and tidy up this. So we have L1, B1 will be equals to, that's 9 times 13 over 10 times 10. We have LB. I hope you understand that. So now this is what we have. So now let us now join the two together. So what do we have? So Now we have L1 B1 equals to, now let's multiply these together. We have 7 and 11. Okay, so over 100 LB. I hope you get that now. All right, so now you can see this is the area that we have here. Can you see now? A is there. So we can simply write the new area is 117 over 100A. Now what happened? You observe that the numerator is no longer 100 again. It has increased by what? By 17. So we now say, therefore, the percentage change in area, is 17. Okay, 17% increments. So that is 17% increment because it has increased by 17. And that is the answer to the problem. I hope every one of you understand this. All right. So now let us look at another wonderful question. All right. Okay, good. Now let's look at another wonderful question here. Now this example 3. Now let's look at example 3. Yes. A rectangular garden measures 30 meters by 20 meters. A part of uniform width is built outside. It's built outside the garden. So if the total area is 936 centimeter square, find the width of the garden. All right, so that is the question on the board. So let's look at the question before we solve it. Before we solve the question, does it look like what we can do? Yes, a rectangular garden measures 30 meters by 20 meters. A part of uniform width is built outside the garden. All right, so if the total area is 936 centimeters square, so find the width of the garden. All right, now let's try and understand the question. So we have a garden. It's rectangular in nature. Okay. So what is the dimension of the rectangular garden? So this is 30 meters and this is 20 meters. All right. So now what happened? Now a part of uniform width is built outside the garden. So that means we now have a path here. So the path looks like this. Okay. So we have a path. All right. So now the question now is, if the total area of this of the path, everything together, if the total area is this, what is going to be the width of this path? Now we want to know this distance here, or the same here, or this one. Now let us represent the paths with x. So if the path is x, that means from here to here is x, from here to here is also x. So the same thing, x, from here to here is x. So now let's look at the bigger rectangle now. So what's going to be the length? So the length is going to be 30 plus 2x meters. I hope you get that. So you know, from here to here is 30. So here to this place is x, and from here to here is also x. So making 2x here and here. So you add that to 30. So you have 30 plus x. Now the same thing also applies to the width here. So this place is going to be 20 plus 2x in meters. Okay. All right. So in the question, we have been given the area to be 36 centimeters squared. So that is, when you use this to multiply this is what you're going to have. So can we do that now? So we have 30 plus 2x, that is the length, times the breadth. Okay. Now that gives you 936. That is what the question says. This is the new length and this is the new breadth. Right? Okay, can we solve this now? So now let's open the bracket. Now 30 times 20, that gives you 600. Now 30 times 2x, that's plus 60x. Okay, so now 2x times 20, that's plus 40x, and the 2x plus 2x, that gives you what? Plus 4x squared. All right, equals to 936. I hope you understand that. All right, so now let's see. Let's join this and this together. So we have 4x squared plus, now this is 100x. Now we have 600 here, plus 600 minus, now when this one comes, or you subtract 936 from both sides, you have minus 936 equals to 0. All right, I hope you understand that. So if you are watching, you have not tapped the like button, ensure you do that. If you are new on this channel, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. All right, so now let's see. So what do we do now? Let's subtract this. These are similar. So we have 4x squared plus 100x. All right, so when you subtract, you have negative 336 equals to 0. Now this is a quadratic equation. Now before I begin to solve, I can see I have big numbers, so I have to look at it if I can simplify it, reduce before I solve. So I think I can divide through by 4. So when you divide 4x squared by 4, you have x squared plus divide this by 4, you have 25x. Now divide this by 4, you have 84. Okay, 84 equals to 0. All right. So what is the next thing? The next thing is to try and factorize this left-hand side if it's possible. And let's see if it is possible. All right. So we have sum and product. Sum and product. So now the sum here is what? Plus 25. Okay. That is 25. While the product is what? Negative 84. Yes. So we need two numbers such that when you multiply together, you have negative 84. And when added together, you have plus 25. So what are the two numbers? Okay, so I know you guys know the answer. So now we have 28. Let's look at it. 28 and negative 3. 28 and negative 3. So look at it. If you add this and this together, 28 and negative 3, you have plus 25. Now let's multiply this. 3 times 8 is 24. You have 4. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2, that's 8. So 84. You get that now? All right. So now let us incorporate that into this equation. So what do we have? So we have x squared plus 28x minus 3x minus 84, okay, equals to what? 0. Is equals to 0. So now the next thing is to find the GCD of this first pair. The first pair here, the GCD is x, the greatest common divisor. So it's x. So now when you divide x squared by x, so you have x. Now you divide plus 28 by x, you have plus 28. Plus 28x. Okay. So now here, the GCD here is negative 3. You have negative 3. Right. So you divide this by negative 3, you have x. You divide negative 84 by negative 3, you have positive 28 equals to 0. So that's what we have. All right. So here you can factor out x plus 28. Now let's factor that out. We have x plus 28. You are left with x minus 3 equals 0. All right. So that means that x plus 28 equals to 0 or x minus 3 equals to 0. So you have x equals to negative 28 or x equals to 3. Now look at it. Now we are looking for x, the width here, x. That's what we are looking for. So the width is a distance. So it cannot be negative. So you cannot measure a distance and call it negative. No. It's going to be, you just find the absolute value. So it's going to be positive. So that means x cannot be negative 28. I hope you get that. So now the answer now say therefore the width is equals to 3 meters. Don't forget to always put the unit. So, and that is the answer to the problem. All right. So I want to believe we are learning. All right. So don't forget to invite your friends. Let them know about this class so that we have good number of people on the platform. All right. So I have another question here. I want us to look at it together. Okay. Yes. Now the ratio of the length to the width of a rectangle is 5:3. So if the perimeter is 64 centimeters, find the area. Find the area. Now, the ratio of the length to the width of a rectangle is 5:3. If the perimeter is 64 centimeters, find the area. Okay, so that's the question. So before I solve this problem, I want you to try this question. I'm going to give you 2 minutes or thereabouts. Try this question and drop your answer in the comment section. Let us see those that will have the correct answer. So solve the problem and drop your answer in the comment section. So if you have an answer to the question, drop it in the comment section. Let me see. So by now we should be rounding up. The ratio of the length to the width of a rectangle is 5:3. If the perimeter is 64 centimeters, find the area. Find the area. Yes, I'm still waiting for our answers. If you have an answer to that question, kindly drop it in the comment section. Let me see before we solve the problem together. Make sure you make an attempt. Yes, anyone with the answer? Okay, we have to move forward because of our time. Okay, so now let's solve it together. So if you are still on it, so you can just look at the screen and see how you are expected to solve it. And if you have the answer or you're on the way, so let me know in the comment section. Now, the ratio of the length to the width of a rectangle is 5:3. So that means this is the length and this is the width. So now, you know your length is always represented with L and your width with B, or you use W. Let's use B. So we have the ratio of the length to the width is equals to 5:3. Can you see that? All right. So in this case now, ratio is the same thing as fraction. Okay. So now you can write it this way: L over B equals to 5/3. All right. So now let's cross multiply. So when you cross multiply, you have 3L equals to 5B. You get that? So now you have that L is the same thing as 5B over 3. Or you get an expression for B, so whichever one. So you have that. Now, can we look at the question now? The question says, if the perimeter is 64 centimeter. So don't forget the formula for perimeter of the rectangle. That is 2 open bracket length plus breadth. So let us plug in the values of L and breadth. Okay, the length and the breadth. So we have 64, which is the perimeter given in the question, equals to 2. What is L? L is 5B over 3 plus, what is the breadth? The breadth is B. Okay, that one did not change, B. So that is what we have. So here, we divide both sides by 2. We divide this by 2, this by 2. So this will turn to 32 equals to 5B over 3 plus B. This one is the same thing as B over 1. All right. So now, what do? We can multiply 2 by 3. All right. So you multiply this by 3, multiply this by 3, this by 3, so that you clear the fraction. All right. So when you multiply this one by 3, what do you have? You have 96. Okay. Equals to. So you multiply this by 3. So what happened? You see that 3 we cancel the 3, half times 3. So this 3 cancel this. So you have 5B. You also do the same thing for the last one. So this one is times 3. Okay, times 3. So that gives you what? 3B. Okay, so now what do we do next? So we add this and this together. All right. So I'm not going to solve this. Let me stop here. I want you to finish this problem. Now, what is going to be the length? You identify the length and the breadth. So you do that now. So if you are with me, so get the length, get the breadth, and also the area. All right, so I'm stopping here. So I want you to finish that. So now what you're going to tell me now, you're going to drop in the comment section the length, the breadth, and the area of this rectangle under consideration. Okay, can you quickly do that? Okay, so by now I think every one of us now should be able to do something. Okay. Okay, Toyosi have dropped an answer, so you have your breadth. Now you need to drop your length and the breadth. At the same time, you drop the area. Okay. Yes, I can see this is Osage, right? The area is 240. Area is 240. I think the unit is supposed to be in centimeter square. I'm not seeing that. Okay, Scott, your breadth is 12. Yes, what is the area? So what is the area? Okay. All right. I think we can continue. I can see one or two people with results. Now let's see whether what we have there is correct. So now here you had this. It's straightforward. You have 96 equals to 8b. And the next thing is to divide both sides by 8. So when you divide both sides by 8, you have 96 over 8 equals to b. All right, so now therefore b equals to what? 12 centimeter. Always remember to put units. Very, very important. So that is your breadth. So now what's going to be the length? Now look at what we have here. The length is 5b over 3. So you just plug in the value of b into the length. If you have L equals to 5 times 12 over 3. Okay. So here now, you can see 3 goes here, 1. 3 goes here, what? 4. So that's going to be 5 times 4. And is what? 20 centimeters. So we have the length as 20 centimeters. So what is the area of the rectangle? So area equals to what? Length times breadth, and that is 20 times 12. So, and that gives you what? 240 centimeters square. Very, very important, the unit. So, and this is the answer to that problem. All right. So, I want to believe a good number of you have the answer to that problem. So, so now let's move down to another question. And don't forget, if you have not tapped the like button, ensure you do that as we move on into to the next question. Yes. All right. So, There's another question. Okay, do we want to try this before we do it together? Can I give you 1 minute to quickly examine that question before we solve it together? So I need you to practice something. Okay, now let's see. A rectangle is such that its diagonal is 12 centimeter and its width is 5 centimeter. So you have to find the length, find the perimeter and the area. Okay, this is a very simple one. So every one of us should be able to do this. Okay, let me give you a minute now to make an attempt. Let's see what we have for that. Okay, yes, Osage. Yes, the length is 12 centimeter, breadth is 5 centimeter, perimeter is 34 centimeter square, area is 60 centimeters square. Okay, this is an answer. Yes, is there anybody with something different or that have solved your problem? So ensure you drop your answer in the comment section. Let's see what you have for that question. Any other person? Yes, Toyosi, I'm waiting for your answer. Discord, I'm waiting for your answer. Yes, we still have good number of you here. Yes, Makinde, I'm waiting for your answer. Okay. Adebayo, I'm waiting for your answer. And others. Okay, what do you have for that? What is the length? What is the length? Okay, Joseph, your length is 12. Okay, what of your perimeter? What is the perimeter? What do you have? What is the perimeter? Okay, you have used 3 minutes. So now let's solve the problem together. Let's see how to solve this problem. Now, in the question, you are told that a rectangle is such that its diagonal is 13 centimeter and its width is 5 centimeter. Don't forget the width is also the same thing as your breadth. Okay, so we have it this way. Let's draw the diagram. So the length is not given. We don't know that. That's L. While the breadth is given, which is also the same thing as the width. So that's 5 centimeter. We are given the diagonal. This is the diagonal here. The length of the diagonal is given to be what? To be 13 centimeter. All right. So now the question is, what is the length? Now, when you look at the rectangle, now all the angles in the rectangle, each of the angle is 90 degrees. So each is 90 degrees. So this is 90, 90, 90, 90. Okay. All right. So now you can bring out this triangle here. You can see we have a triangle and it's a right angle triangle. Now look at it. It looks like this. So this is 5. This is 13. So you can get your hair. So this is right angle here. Okay. Can you see that? So you are going to be making use of Pythagoras theorem. Okay. So now you have the squares of the two sides equals to the square of the hypotenuse. So you have L square plus 5 square equals to 13 square. All right. So now you have L square plus 25 equals to 169. Okay. So let's subtract 25 from both sides. You have L square equals to 169 minus 25. All right. So we have L square equals to 144. Now here you can find square root of both sides. So you have L equals to square root of 144. Okay, so and L is what? 12 centimeter. So that is the length. So now this rectangle under discussion, the length is 12 centimeter while the breadth is 5 centimeter. I hope you understand that. So that's the first part of the question. Now the second part, you have to find the perimeter of this rectangle. So the perimeter is 2 times L plus breadth, or we say 2 lengths plus 2 breadths. So we have it this way. Perimeter is 2 L plus B, where L is the length and the B is the width. Okay, now let's plug in the values. So we have perimeter equals to 2. Now length has been gotten now to be 12 plus breadth is what? 5. That's 5. So we have P equals to 2 times. Now when you add this and this together, what do you have? You have 17. And you multiply this by 2. What do you have? You have 34 centimeter. So that is going to be the breadth, the perimeter, sorry, the perimeter of the rectangle. So now the last one, you have to find the what? The area of the rectangle. Area. So now let's see. Area of a rectangle is length times breadth, or length times width. So we have area to be equal to the length is what? 12. 12 times, while the breadth is what? 5. We have 5. And when you multiply this, you have 60 centimeter square. 60 centimeter square. And that is the answer to the problem. All right, so I have one particular question for you all. Yes, this question. The sides of a triangle are x plus 2 centimeter, 2x minus 1 centimeter, and 3x minus 5 centimeter. If the perimeter The perimeter is 36 centimeters. Roman numeral 1, find x. 2, find determine, okay, let's say determine whether the triangle is valid. Determine whether the triangle is valid. All right, so we are going to be stopping here for today. All right, I want to believe you guys have learned one or two things. So now this question, I want you to write the question down and solve. So against the next class, I'm going to ask you question, your answer to this problem. So make sure you have your answer against the next class. So try and copy this question down. Okay, so and in the next class, we are going to learn problems under triangles. Okay, when you look at what we did today now, everything centered around rectangle. Okay, so now tomorrow we are going to be looking at questions that surrounds triangles. Okay, so that is what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Okay, so we are going to be picking each of the plane shape one after the other. The common plane shapes. Okay, so we are going to be looking at them one after the other. So I think by now every one of you should be able to find perimeter area of a given rectangle. Okay, all right, so now this problem, let's solve it against the next class. So I want to believe you guys enjoy today's class. Don't forget to invite your friends. Okay, make sure you tell them, let them know about the class so that we have a good number of students on this platform. So thank you very much for being there. I love you guys. Bye-bye.